Alright. Hi everybody.
How you there?
This is the cast of A Day in the Life of. We thought we'd do something different for you guys and be ourselves so you can catch us in our own element, in our own style as we go through our day-to-day personal lives. So we're just going to share amongst ourselves some questions that we have all written down for one another, asked whether it's as our character or asked as who we are personally. So to start things off, of course, I'm Dominique Breckenridge. I play Betty Gray normally. This is Jasmine Lofton, who normally plays Rachel Hagen or Rachel Ellis Hagen. This is Tamara Solomon, who normally plays Pike Anderson. And this is Tony Ballard, who normally plays Mason Davis. So we're going to kick things off with a round of questions. However you guys want to do it, whoever wants to, not everyone speak at once, whoever wants to start off with their first question, and we'll go from there.
All right, Rachel.
Okay, so I guess my question would be for Dominique. Would you ever be as extravagant as Betty Gray to get the job?
Woo, that is a good question. I would like to think I would. However, some of the predicaments that she finds herself in can be just downright embarrassing, that I think on the outside looking in, I would probably question some of her antics to get a job. But I would like to think, however, though, that my determination to get to where she's trying to go would be in the same category, if that answers the question. Okay. Anybody else?
Sure, I'll go.
As I gave her the eye.
The eye. Okay, this is for Tony. Are there any similarities between you and Mason?
Well, yeah, quite a few. I think that Mason is very sly and quick on his toes when it comes to snapping back or to maybe joning. And so I think we definitely have that in common. Also, he's a woman's man. He's a manly man, and that's who I am in real life. So we have that in common. IJS. I mean, I'm just saying.
Oh yes. Just to let you know, we are in the modern day age.
Right.
So if we throw acronyms at you and things like that, feel comfortable. Right. You're okay. You're amongst friends. Right. Okay, I'm gonna go with Pike as my first question. Tamara, for you guys who missed the intro. If Pike had to cover a story of choice, what or who would the story be about? Yeah.
It would have to be something really random. The first thing that popped into my mind was she would try to get to the bottom of if Betty really sees Tyrone Power in her cheaters. That's the first thing that popped into my mind, sorry.
That's a good question. Now that got bounced back. That's a good story.
Yeah.
The wheels are turning. Stay tuned for an episode coming up soon. That's a good question. I mean, a good answer.
Taking the plot twist.
Oh gosh, yeah. If you don't know about the cheaters in Tyrone Power, just pick any episode. I'm sure it's probably randomly, thrown in there. So yeah.
I have a question for Rachel.
Who has on a very nice watch, by the way.
Yes.
Ching-ching.
Look at you.
See, we couldn't show you this if we were in 1930s, 40s,
Right.
or
Or
50s.
stuff like that.
Why? Because that watch doesn't exist yet.
Yeah.
No.
So, okay, carry on. I'm so sorry.
Rachel,
Uh-huh.
how exactly did you learn a bull call?
Hello?
There was a situation where you guys were making fun of me in my Italian one-of-a-kind vehicle, where I was just trying to make sure we got to our point of destination.
With needs.
And all of a sudden, you're able to call upon a bull out of the blue. I never knew you had that in you.
See, when you're married to Dennis, up things. You don't know where they come from.
All right.
But it's always out of survival. And you learn. And yeah.
That's the fact that it's just when you're married to Dennis. I think that
That could have been the answer in itself.
Right.
Yeah.
Good answer.
You're right.
So you're not a matador. You don't.
You never quite know what you're gonna get.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
She might be. That's a good question, though. Good question.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else?
That's brown.
I guess I have one.
Okay.
I have
Oh,
one
Mike.
for-
Our crew is gonna be
The
asking
camera
the
is
Camera is talking now. Anyway, go ahead.
Who never
Narrator.
likes to be filmed, by the way. But if I can sneak one of him for you guys, I'll do that.
Right.
Okay.
And for each of you, in playing these characters, have you found yourself learning more about the genre and the time period?
Yes.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
And it's not even as the character. That's just something that she does.
Yes.
That's why I come here.
Exactly.
Yes.
I think we have all had the explanation or the come to the conclusion that it's like a history lesson
Mm-hmm.
in film and media and radio programs, and also an escape to that era.
Exactly.
And it's a trip that is amazing to take and amazing to witness and see, and to be able to have that conversation and to know, and then it makes you respect what is out now,
Right.
and characters and artists, and not just actors, but producers and playwrights and all of that.
Right.
You learn to respect that because you really know and
Right.
understand where it started,
Mm-hmm.
and being able to have that opportunity to be a part of it is just the icing on top of the cake.
Right.
So.
And living in the times that we're living in with wars and rumors of wars, it feels good to go back to a time, to an innocent time.
Where things were simpler.
Yes. And things weren't perfect then, but
Yeah.
it wasn't now. And so I specifically have to do this. It's a religious experience for me because it's a different type of escape, to become this character, to go to this era, the clothing,
Which we love.
the way that men respected women even back then is a lost art, in this time. And if young men could go back and see the way that men revered women of the era, then we would all benefit from that.
I concur.
I also think that, in a very good way, I think Dominique lives in the 30s.
She does.
Like, she really does. And
Between
she's like
the 30s and the
Right.
60s,
So it's like
70s,
a
almost
walking
60s.
history
Yeah.
lesson, because the things that we say in the script that I just crack up at, like, she really says that for real.
For real.
like in
That's
real
a
life.
punchline
Like
that
today.
So when
she
she
uses
says-
on a regular basis.
Right. And so when she says modern day slang, I
We're
have
like,
to
what?
It freaks us out to
Right.
hear her play like regular music
Right.
from 2014. I
Right.
have to look like,
what's going on with you?
They have
Did
to
I
question me.
what are you listening to? What is this and how do you know it? That's
But usually, that's gonna make me look bad. As I say, even then, it has to have like some kind of
it
classic
still has some
reference.
classic reference to it. It's somewhere
Doesn't
in
make you
there.
look bad.
It
It
doesn't-
just, it's, like even today, when I walked in, she was playing a song, and I'm like, why are you listening to this?
Yes.
And then the last, line in it. Okay, it makes sense now.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was
And it
all
was-
for the punchline.
It was all for the punchline at the end that paid homage to,
Yes, Mr. Alain Delon, I'm looking at you. Yes,
so.
yes.
Did that.
Ah. Okay. Well, now that you guys have made me feel good about myself, I was always questioning that. Is this normal? It's normal to me.
It's normal for Dominique, so.
Yeah. Okay, I have a question for Rachel. How would you think Dennis and Rachel met?
He hoodwinked her. Like, she got blindsided. I'm sorry.
She did.
And just unfortunately couldn't shake him, and probably had some form of sympathy for him. And then he was just kind of like that lost puppy dog that kept following her around. And she kept feeding him, and asked, and she said yes.
Did we just go there?
Mm-hmm.
Dennis,
Yeah.
I'm looking at you.
Yeah, here's to you. Here's to you. But yeah, no. I as much as yeah, no. I'm just gonna
Oil and water. Oil and water.
that somehow work.
Yeah. In an odd.
We don't know why or how, but
It happened. One night. Clark Gable. Claudette Colbert. Look it
Pretty
up.
much messed up my question.
Oh. Sorry.
Don't worry. That's all my questions too.
Okay, I'm sorry. Carry on.
You wanna
Well, I
go?
might as well just ask it now. Since why Dennis?
Cause he asked.
Oh, okay, right on. Next.
Okay.
I'm gonna go to Pike on this one. Pike, you're my friend.
Mm-hmm.
So why did you all make fun of me when I went to open up for Little Richard? I don't understand why nobody was taking it serious. It's still not a joke.
She's thinking long and hard on this one.
Nobody took it
'Cause-
serious.
Because it was hilarious, and because you went out there with supreme confidence, and we couldn't understand, like, really, like.
Where is
I was
this
trying to
coming
make
from?
your festival.
This is the same Mason that goes to Grease Junction Function,
Right.
and you want to woo with Little Richard.
Right, like,
Really?
like
What
who
tutti
did that?
frutti have you been eating
I didn't
with
wanna
your
do
little
that.
black book?
Right, with
And
nothing
yes,
in it.
Exactly, with the blank
there
pages.
were numbers in the book.
Yeah, but not phone numbers. Right. The number to the order that you make at the Grease Junction Function does
Yeah.
not
Wow.
suffice as something credible or valuable for Pike to write a story about.
Mason is gonna be a classic artist in the future. You guys just wait. In the 90s, they're gonna go back and sample my music.
Oh, okay.
I wonder
That's
who'll
all.
be writing that script.
Right. Let's all touch and agree on that.
But carry on.
Yes, carry on.
Okay, I have a question for Betty.
Oh gosh, okay. Let me get to my
Kind
Betty
of.
mode.
It's kind of Tam kind of touched on it.
Okay.
Have you caught up with Talon Power yet?
Okay, okay, you know what? That's a good question. I think in a roundabout way, because not too long ago, I was fortunate enough to be invited to Turner Classic Movies, and I got to talk about film, and the film that I got to talk about was Witness for the Prosecution, which, for anyone who doesn't know, that's, unfortunately, it was Tyrone Power's last film, although he didn't know that, no one knew that at the time, because he died unexpectedly, not too much later. So me being able to talk about him, I felt in a way that Betty Gray caught up with Tyrone Power because she got to talk, although it was me. I'm a Gemini, for those who don't know, so maybe there is a little bit of Betty Gray in me. So we both, I'm not crazy, we both got to talk about Tyrone Power. So in a way, I think she has caught up with Tyrone Power, and around, through channeling through decades, like Dominique has done her well. You're in good hands, Betty. You're in good hands.
You're not crazy. I'm sorry.
I'm not crazy. Okay.
I have a question for Dominique.
Don't I feel like a punching bag?
So, what would happen if the cast went on a cruise and ended up getting marooned and left on an island?
Oh my gosh.
What do you think would happen?
Another episode coming your way.
Pretty much.
I don't know. Gosh, that would be crazy. That would be like,
And Betty only has high heels.
yes, okay.
Of course.
Yes, and
She
so
would have anything else?
right,
Like,
right, yeah. So okay, wow. So I'm envisioning the sand and the heels. How would that how would that quite work?
She'll figure it out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and
She knew
Pike
there was
always
something.
having to write a story. What would she use? Would she get leaves, you know, like
She was
trying to
writing
make
in the
some
sand.
paper? And then Rachel trying to cook her hard brick biscuits for Dennis.
Oh no.
How would she use sand? What would she some kind of coconut biscuit? Like,
Ooh,
you know,
that's good.
and then Mason Davis mixed in with not having the grease junction function. I don't know what would happen. How would that work? That's a good question. Like I said, stay tuned, folks. We're coming for you. That's a good question. Bam.
That's not normal.
I didn't know it was supposed to be like
I got it from my mama.
my fuse was on.
Wait, what? Okay.
Carry on.
That wasn't from the 30s.
Oh, it's modern. Okay, I didn't even catch that. I have heard that phrase. But I really did mean I got it from my mom. Like I really did, because my mom did that for real in real life.
For real.
And she would.
Like
and I was
last
like, whoa, do it again,
See what we
Oh
mean?
my god.
Michael.
Alright.
Okay, being on the other side of the camera, what is your favorite part to watch or film of the cast and or show? I'm looking at you.
I would say the outtakes.
Which
you-
there are many.
Where you catch the unexpected stuff, and it's real fun, and it seems like everybody's having a lot of fun making it. So
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I hope
That's
you
right.
Catches the worst outtakes.
some with people's mouth all
open
open.
and drinking coffee.
I remember that one picture I took her.
Caught me dancing a few times, and I was having a moment, and yeah.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised.
good times, good times.
Too much.
Yes.
All we can say is thank you to Dominique for keeping our secrets off.
Okay.
We had this discussion before we started filming.
Sometimes we don't know you're recording. Mike.
Exactly.
Yes.
That makes it even
It's a little-
worse.
Yeah.
So what you
You'd be
guys
surprised,
Right.
yes,
Yeah.
what I have in my possession
I
that
know.
the world will never be able to see.
And you just don't want to make Betty Gray mad because you
Yeah,
might
yeah,
find
yeah,
out.
yeah.
see, just how lethal.
That's
You
how
never
it
know
works.
what she'll work in the script.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh,
Which is how Rachel ended up writing a bull. So yeah.
I just want to backdoor that question because it's the same question. Do you ever feel like being one of the cast members?
Yes.
I think so. Just behind the scenes, kind of,
Another script coming soon.
Honestly, he is. You just never know.
Yeah.
That random voice you hear randomly, it's really Mike.
Yes, when we're ever a voice short,
Mike, say this real
9
quick.
times out of 10.
Yeah.
He's been British, he's been Jamaican, he's probably been
The little boy on the street.
yes. Paper. He's been pretty much everyone.
Yeah.
But if you want to be written in full time, just let me know, Mike, and I'll be on my suit and tie.
See, too current.
It does sound a little awkward coming from
Yeah.
me.
All right, Mason.
That would be me.
For real?
No.
Oh. So, what exactly do you do for a living?
Ain't got
I'm a
no
nutritionist.
job.
I'm a magician. Okay. And so
Okay.
between me doing healthy magic, it's a high demand for magical nutritionists.
Where at?
But you know what? And in your defense, the gangster episode where the cooks wanted some nutritional,
See?
and he thought he was being
Pause, Mike. It's unplugged.
I am a connoisseur. I'm a jack, a mason of all trades.
Oh.
I'm a mason of all trades. And I just pretty much live off of the land, wherever I am. You
The
know,
land
it takes
being
care of me.
other people's plates.
Yeah.
Continue.
That's my job is to make sure that other people aren't eating unhealthy. So if I see someone
Oh.
is eating a burger that's too unhealthy, it's my job as
to eat it.
To eat
Exactly.
it and get it away from them.
Exactly. That's not right. To just I wouldn't want to put you through that. Eating that burger by yourself. That's not cool. I wouldn't want to do you like that. I'm trying to be a good person.
tough crowd.
Drop my car.
Uh-oh.
Wait.
Tight shot on
No,
something
good.
else so she can pick up her card.
I know.
Can you get it?
Wait, I have a question for
Okay.
Mason.
Uh-oh.
Oh wait, do we need a?
Yo no segundo, por favor.
Hold on. All right.
And cut.
All right.
You know,
I'm back.
blooper reel.
Right.
Really? Okay, I have a question for Mason. What won't you eat?
Oh.
What won't I eat?
That's a good one. I didn't even think.
Because you've taken pretty much anything and everything off someone's plate.
Okay, so this is the thing about food, you know, that people don't understand.
Educate us.
The art of nutrition is there's a certain way that you have to approach food in general, and I don't want to be biased towards any particular food group or any particular food item or anything that can be edible. And so with me, once again, being a good person and making sure that the world is a better place, I partake of all. Partake.
I'm so glad we all have our
Emphasis
boots
on take.
Really.
Partake.
What?
So glad we all have our boots on.
Okay.
What?
All right.
I'm hungry. What?
That's Mason Davis, ladies and gentlemen. That's Mason Davis. Speaking of Mason, okay, now he's the punching bag. How do you think Mason would get along with Dennis and Henry?
Oh man, those guys, they are awesome. I mean, we probably would just go out to eat, you know, and I would make sure, once again, that they'd love me because I wouldn't let them get fat, you know. Yeah. Dennis, I don't have a really good answer for that because I never really get a chance. With all of my work, I don't really have a chance to hang out with people. Right.
But you have enough trouble to just get in
Exactly.
to get in
It would
trouble
just-
with them.
Yeah, it would be nothing but trouble.
Yes.
In my
I think Dennis and Mason would be like Mike and Ike.
Exactly.
Like, right?
Two peas in a pod.
Yeah, buddy.
Wherever anything that idea that popped in Dennis's
Right.
head, Mason would be along to try
Yes.
and do,
Or vice
and
versa.
It would.
I got a
just,
friend
who knows somebody.
Knows
and if we
somebody.
do this, and it would.
that would be.
Well, you know, Dennis is married, so.
That
That-
didn't mean a dog thing.
Please.
Half the stuff he's got Rachel dragging
You
to.
exactly. Put in jail and
Oh, that
having-
means nothing.
Walking home.
I think we would-
Right? How do you think she ended up on the bull?
Exactly.
We would be the Three Musketeers.
Oh Jesus!
And we would go around being vigilantes and making sure.
that all of Los Angeles was burned down.
And was starving. Because,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Because all three of them can put down
Some
some
food.
food. Yes.
And all three of them, yeah, it would just, you would be Three Musketeers, all right.
Another episode coming real soon. This is just food for the mind, for the
Food?
creative.
Oh.
Moving on.
Right.
Plug your mic.
No, it was I.
No, I plugged this too.
Okay.
I have
Plug
a
it
question
back in.
for Rachel.
Okay.
Okay.
Was it my turn?
Sure.
Anybody?
Rachel? How exactly did you get a British Jamaican accent? Are you?
I'm sorry. What?
Yet again, I live with Dennis. Married to Dennis.
It takes Henry to answer that one.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Is she Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
Where are you from?
All behind the script. Is she Cuban? I thought it said British. How does that? Where do you get your motivation from? She's been Parisian. She's been. Now, mind you, that doesn't mean it comes out as if she's
As if it's supposed
with
to
the
be
French.
that. Yeah. God, no. Just kind of. But like, when being married to a being such as Dennis,
Okay.
yes, a human being.
Oh,
such
human.
As, yes, a human being such as Dennis, you have to be a chameleon.
And chameleons have British Jamaican accents. God, that makes sense to me.
Gotta do what you gotta do to stay out of jail. Hello. And alive. So, yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
That's a good one. That's a good one.
That was a random question. I know.
Okay.
I have a
Oh, go
question
ahead,
for
go ahead.
Pike.
Pike.
Pike?
Yes.
Who's
Say
that?
Pike from Pike.
So, have you touched or tried coffee since the last cup you had of Betty's?
What happened to Tamara when
She
you
plays too.
Wait, not even Betty's.
What happened
But
to
wait, let's lash this. Tamara, have you touched or tried coffee since the last cup Dominique's you had?
Too
What happened?
much.
What happened when you?
I was. Let me tell you. Let me put out my cards.
Oh, that's was Tamara.
I was at the house, laying down. I was really, really sleepy when I got here. I'm always really, really sleepy when I get here. And then I got home, ready to go to sleep, and I'm just laying there. Okay. You know how you just lay down and you just wait for the sleep to come? No, it did not come. It was like 3 a.m., and I'm like staring at the ceiling, up and confused, wondering why I'm still up. And I'm like,
And coffee.
Dominique's coffee.
Or was it Betty's coffee?
It was,
That
it was Dominique.
That day, it was
It was
Dominique.
Dominique. I started to text her, but
She was up.
They make a similar cup of Joe.
Yes.
Very similar.
I think Betty's might be a little bit stronger because
Yeah.
of the effect it had on...
She's a live wire, that one.
Yeah, Pike was swinging
Oh,
from the
right.
chandeliers.
And then passed out.
and
Right,
passed
right,
out.
right.
and then got back up.
Right.
And kept doing the same
I'll
stuff.
make you
up
some
the
Betty
walls.
Gray coffee one of these days.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
I don't
immune
want
to, this is how bad it is. As myself, Dominique, I am immune to strong coffee that I guess it doesn't affect me anymore.
So she tries to kill us.
So, no, I don't real, it's like when someone's extremely strong and they shake someone's hand and they don't know their own strength.
Right.
That's me with coffee. I don't realize until someone's like, ooh.
Well, when we ran out of gas, I didn't tell you guys. On our little road trip,
You used her coffee.
I used the coffee.
In my thermal mug.
That's how we, before the bull
Oh, that's
thing.
why it was going to...
That's why we were going so fast.
We took off.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Right on.
Yeah.
You didn't smack.
Oh, I'm not going to do that on camera. So sorry.
I have a question for Dominique, the writer, Dominique Breckenridge.
Okay.
I've asked you this question before, so I'm putting you on the spot.
Oh, gosh.
How do you write so fast? Are these stories true, or are they fiction?
Combination of both. A combination of being inspired by life, being inspired by some of the stuff myself, being inspired by what I see, being inspired by what I hear, what I'm told, and some completely if I ruled the world kind of situations. The quickness of how it happens is that's completely out of my control, I think. I don't know if I could really put a justified answer to it. It just, sometimes it's there and sometimes it's not.
We have let Dominique know on the day of that there was an emergency, and she has a new script by the time we get here 3 hours later or an hour later, and that's baffling. And they're all, well, you saw the scripts, you heard them. You know what I mean?
Thank you. Thank you. I try.
She's a seed.
And a message from Charlie Chan. Okay, here's a question for the complete cast. Now having showcased Old Time Radio both as a complete comedy series with the same characters repeatedly to portraying the other genres of Old Time Radio with different plots, twist characters, and more recently going to into a short film-esque scenario, which captures your interest more? That one.
That's the one.
I think that was horror.
I'm just playing. That's funny.
Your thing didn't explode.
Oh.
Because yours already did.
Your mic is unplugged. I don't know. I enjoy the comedy portion of it, just because I get I don't know. I just, the comedy and the craziness and the I would say the comedy.
It's something about a script that's like, how can I say this? It's something about a script that's a challenge, that's almost like meeting a new woman, and I really, really want to impress her and really get to know her. And so that's how I feel about a script. And so
I felt like Foxy.
I want to. I like memorizing it because that makes you intimate with the script, and you have to feel whatever this person is feeling, you know. But then reading the script, you know, you get to become a person that's reading a script. I'm sorry, I lost my.
All of a sudden, I'm in a jazz. I can't deal with her.
I was like, come on.
She's on the keyboard.
She's on the keyboard and she got you going. It's
It's
just playing the
something
slow
about-
jams in the background.
There's something about reading those scripts or reading anything and conveying a message through words. It's magical to me. That's why I'm a writer, and that's why I admire your writing.
I can't.
Dang.
I feel
Sorry.
She's done. Okay, I like the comedy because I'm a goofy person.
You have no
And,
idea.
Yeah.
You go
and-
in and out.
When you see the script doing like this and shaking, and there's no face, know that who is it? Oh, it's
Somebody's
Tamara.
laughing.
It's Tamara.
I do like the other genres, like the comedy. I mean, the mystery.
Oh yeah, the love letter.
Yeah, the drama, the mystical.
Mm-hmm.
But comedy, that's my favorite.
She's
I love
down
to
with
laugh.
I think, especially because we've been doing the comedy for so long, to have that alternate, as much as we love the comedy and as much as it is something that we have fine-tuned so much because of who we are and how well we fit together,
Right.
I think to have that extra thing in there.
I'm sorry.
Like that.
Yes.
That's an outtake.
Pretty much.
Yes.
Um,
Someone's phone is always ringing on set. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
so to have that extra change of pace is a breath of fresh air, and it keeps us on our toes, and it just, Dominique and herself just keeps us on our toes, and what she writes, and how she constantly pushes us to try and do something different.
Right.
And as much as it is her writing for the characters, partially it's like, I can imagine you actually saying this, you know.
Right.
It's, I'm not even gonna give you a cue as to how to say this because you're gonna say it like you say it, and that's what I'm looking for. So, to really be able to not only have free room to be who we are naturally in the character, let the character come out of us. So,
Wow.
I feel like Dominique is getting to know us through the script, you know, or just through our interactions, because I can feel my personality coming out through Mason. You know, maybe it's something I said or did, but we don't get to talk very much, you know, because we're busy. But in the script, I can tell that's my friend, you know, because clearly she knows me, because she knows I would say that.
exactly. Kind of like, yeah.
Except for Heavenly Days McGee.
Now, for all of
Mortimer Sneered.
Snurd. Okay. Okay. So for all my old time radio family out there, you guys already know where Heavenly Days McGee comes from and Mortimer Snurd. Okay, last week we had to say Mortimer. She had to say Mortimer Snurd. I can't tell you how long it took her to finally get out. Like it came out and then wait.
I was crying laughing. Like,
She couldn't quite get it out to where she had to find Tamara. Okay.
And then say it, yeah.
Yes. So, and I didn't even think it was funny. I didn't even realize that that's what she was laughing at. And I was like, what is it, the snurd? And she said, that's the
it.
one. That's what's
Yeah.
yes. So, Heavenly Days McGee, you guys already know about Molly. So, for them, it's like, say what? Yeah. But to me, it's just like
regular speak.
like the Robert Montgomery line last week. I say that in real life, you know, but they were like, why would you be saying that in real life?
Well, then again, we're
I
talking
don't
about
know.
Dominique, so.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
As for me, to answer my own question, I guess I like all of them. I like. As an actor, you're always someone different anyway, and sometimes as an actor in life, you're always someone else anyway. I think Marlon Brando said it best, that everyday people, everyone acts, everyone is an actor, whether they realize it or not. Oh, I have no acting ability. But you go into work some days that you don't feel like going into work, and you put on a smile some days that you don't want to put on a smile, or you might say something to someone to not hurt their feelings because you want them to feel more confident about themselves. So every day we're putting on different faces. Every day we're someone new. Every day is something different. Every day we're faced with something we were not prepared for, but we have to conquer. So we put on whatever face fits. So all of us are actors within our own right. So I like all of the genres. I like all of them. I mean, if it were from Dominique talking, naturally I would say anything drama, not dramatic. Betty is more like dramatic. But I'm saying as like for me, it would be anything drama related, any kind of a drama piece. That's more up my road.
It's rather dramatic, and so for her, you know, half of the outfits you see, she probably wears on a regular basis.
Yeah.
You guys should have seen her at
To
Christmas.
Home Depot.
Yes,
Home Depot.
what you're
And
seeing
to
now.
Walmart,
Yes.
and to general places. So like we all went out for her birthday, and she walked in all her glamorousness.
Yeah, yes, you.
Yeah, that one.
That would be
And it was just, she was in her own world, and everybody else was like,
I never noticed.
and she doesn't notice.
I never noticed.
But that's Dominique, and you know, for us, we're okay with that.
I am.
Yeah, we don't.
I'm
choose
choosing.
I'm loved.
For her not to be like that is almost more shocking than for
Right.
her
Yeah,
to
exactly.
be.
Right.
So,
There's the perfect stuff going on back.
Yeah. Way to go. When I get up and walk out of here. Walk out.
Hard my
Not flitter away.
Have you guys ever seen an old man mosey quickly?
yes.
Oh my god, it was so funny watching this old man walk across the street slowly, real fast. It was like a fast mosey. I was like, how's he doing that?
Exactly. I know. I had a guy who told me, he said, "Oh, I got ADD, but I'm old, so I don't move as fast as I used to." So he was just like moseying. Sir, I need your.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Are we rolling?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. I have a final question for myself, for the cast. This is a bonus question. Any particular old-time radio program or classic film watched during our classic movie nights with the cast and crew, or on your own that you've watched, stay with you after a while when it's over? Pray tell.
The one that did it for me was the original. I can't think of the name of the movie, but it's with a young lady. She's mixed.
Frida. No, not Frida.
Imitation of Life?
Imitation of Life.
Frida
Get
Washington.
out of my
Yeah, Frida
head.
Washington.
Freddie Washington. Yeah. The Freddie Washington.
It stuck with me because people don't appreciate each other enough. You know, that's the ultimate lesson in that movie to me. And no one gives flowers to people while they're alive. You know, and the whole world is set up so pretentiously, and that movie depicted it perfectly. That even in your own house, you can be pretentious. You know, based on the outside influence of what the world says, and it's so important to be yourself. And that young lady loved her mother, and you didn't know it until the very end. You know, as a witness, you're watching the movie and you're angry with that young lady the entire time, and you almost don't even want to feel sorry for her at the end. You know.
Yeah.
And it teaches a valuable lesson. My children will be watching Imitation of Life.
We had to watch. Now we had to watch. There's the Freddie Washington version, as you guys probably know, and then the one with Juanita Moore and Lana Turner in the 50s. And that one we had to watch, I remember, in school. And words cannot express. When Mahalia Jackson came on, I was done.
Oh yeah.
I knew that, I already knew that song, but sung in for the reason, in the context of that film, the way it was done, it was over for me. But when she comes back, Mama, I didn't mean it. Mama, I didn't mean it. Tears were crying more so for the.
Oh, mine is the same as his. I think he stole it, but his imitation of God. And the reason why is because where I grew up, it was a struggle for me to realize who I was and to be okay with it. Just the simple fact that I'm Black, obviously, you guys can see that. But where I grew up, I was seen as lighter or kind of not a part because I was lighter and my parents were mixed. So it was always hard and weird to kind of fit in because they felt like either you felt like you're better than, and I'm not saying that everybody felt that way, but it was just hard to see where you fit in. So seeing that movie really teaches you to just accept who you are and just not to be worried about what everybody else thinks, because you're you, and even the people who think they're so much alike, they're still individuals and nobody's like anybody else.
What was the movie we saw? Waterfront, on the waterfront.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, she watches these movies on the regular. And we have to shove popcorn in her mouth to shut her up.
What did I talk about me? Why you gotta bring me up?
Hot Street. No, we did go to see that. But I think even realizing not everyone that smiles in your face is really your friend. And really, I guess, so much to say, her character having to, thinking she's dealing with one thing and then really dealing with something else, and having to live with that decision, and not everybody that's in your corner really has your back.
Yep.
So I think that was one of the things that really stuck with me. And yeah, that's probably gonna be probably one of them. And then I'd probably say a little too, like even A Streetcar Named Desire.
Oh yeah. Great.
Yeah. And it's just little things from that it's just kind of like, hey, that fits there, you know, and getting those Dominique moments where it's like you want to use those lines and add it to whatever it is you're talking about, and it just kind of so. But yeah, so those all of them, I think, try to just kind of
Stick with you like a good meal.
Right. And like on a lighter note, I didn't mean to skip you, Betty, but on a lighter note, Guys and Dolls, I gave a standing ovation. There was like 3 people in the room.
Friends, my name is Sarah Brown. Sorry.
Sign my dad. No, seriously, I don't understand what happened in film. I just don't understand what happened. I mean, a lot of the method actors are still alive, and they're playing in the new school movies, but apparently the directors don't know how to write or something. I'm not sure what happened in film, but I'm just saying. And then I just don't understand what happened to good acting,
good writing,
and good writing,
and good directing. Even
the Little Rascals, you know, they cannot be duplicated. I don't understand. Those children aren't any different or any older, but it's just a completely different era, and we cannot physically do it. I don't understand.
Yeah, I can I can so. I think we'd be here too long if I had to expand on that. Do any films stick with me after I've watched them?
All of them.
All of them.
Yeah. I mean, just like when they mentioned Invitation to Life, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, like the first and second one, there's something I can say. On the Waterfront Streetcar, don't ask me, because we will really, really run out of time. I grew up knowing Marlon Brando strictly as The Godfather. Don't judge me. Yes, I watched The Godfather as a kid, but I knew from a very early age that this is a film that I am watching. This is not something to be duplicated. However, I think The Godfather in particular, and films like it, there are valuable lessons that can be learned, even as a child watching it. To know the main thing I got from The Godfather was family. And that this is, I mean, when you talk about Don Corleone being the matriarch of this family, and that they respect him so, Pop, what do you think? Pop, what do you think? They're not doing that just to hear themselves talk. He knew, he had been around, he knew what was right, what was wrong, but the main thing he knew is that family, you know, you never discuss anything outside of the family. That was like, that registered with me. You know, what's the matter with you? You never discuss anything outside of the family. That, for me, everything else with The Godfather, the violence or what have you, I didn't see that. Even as a kid, I saw a lesson that was to be learned. So yes, I'm glad that I was able to watch The Godfather as a kid. It made me appreciate the value, the lesson that was in it. And even if you followed The Godfather, how Michael's character looked up to his father, how he looked up to his dad so much, and that it somehow got away from him, that he had to kind of come back to reality. And I think, you know, all of us go through that. So my first experience with Marlon Brando was The Godfather, and so to see him in Streetcar and On the Waterfront, Guys and Dolls, I was like, I'm sorry, you were young ones?
Right.
You know, but for me, unfortunately, I also grew up in the era where it was more tabloid Marlon Brando than actor Marlon Brando. So aside from The Godfather, all I saw in the headlines were about him and his personal life, whether it was his weight or whether it was his family problems or his many marriages or his kids or this, and this, that everyone was talking about who he used to be. And I was curious, well, who was he? What did he do? And the first film I heard repeatedly was A Streetcar Named Desire, A Streetcar Named Desire, A Streetcar Named Desire. So I needed to find out who this person was. So I could definitely say Marlon Brando as an actor he stays with me. When the films are over, he stays with me. But, I mean, he's an exception to the rule, but any film I see, Gilda, that inspired me. That stayed with me afterward. There are some modern films that I like, but they always have some type of period piece with them, some type of hold to the past. Films like Moulin Rouge have inspired me. I know Baz gets a lot of bad criticism. Hey, you're thinking like I'm thinking. My life I see through my eyes is with music or with off colors, and for me it's never just black and white. Even though it's a film, there's so many colors to it. It doesn't necessarily have to be color in the physical sense, what we see, like this is black or this is white or this is brown or that's red. Even black and white holds a color to it. It's all a matter of how the story is told. It's all a matter of how the pages are written. It's all a matter of how the scenes are acted. It's all a matter of how you walk into the room. That's coloring for me. So I see life that way. So anything inspires me after I see it, if it's good.
Right.
If it's good, if there's a point to it. Things that don't have points to it, you ask me what did I think about it, I won't even remember. But films that are in the past that have resonated with me, stayed with me, and I can definitely see influences, although there are very few influences that I see with modern films. They'll stay with me too, so I guess that answers my own question. But anybody else have any random questions before we wrap up? Last call! Train go by. Well, anyhow, I hope you guys have enjoyed spending some time with us as who we are, a little bit of our characters as well. If you guys have any questions that you have for any of us, feel free to send us a comment and we will answer you accordingly. So from Betty Gray, Dominique, and Jasmine Lofton, Rachel Hagan, Tamara Solomon, Pike Anderson, and Mason Davis, which is Tony Ballard, me, myself, and I, as he says some weeks. This has been a Dominique Revue production. Good night, everybody. Ring a ding ding.